So you know those people that you tell them dinner's at 5:30 just so they make it there by 6?
Do I have to say their name? Because
No.
I think they listen to the show.
No, you don't have to say their name. I can't say any names because I know a few people that listen to the show that are probably that way.
Good people. It's just...
Fantastic people.
I'm telling you dinner's at 5:30, not at 6.
But then you're just like, you're sitting in the parking lot and you're like, dude, this is 30 whole minutes. Like, I have stuff to do. I could fill this 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm busy. But instead, I'm sitting in a Chili's parking lot waiting for you to pull in.
There's worse places to sit and wait.
Not much worse, but no, just kidding.
Anyway, so today we're going to talk about how you can quit being late and why that's important.
Yes.
Roll the intro. Welcome to the Let's Quit podcast.
Quitting is not always a bad thing.
If you have the right mindset, quitting can be the most powerful tool you have on your journey to success. It's certainly been helpful for us.
Whether it's flying through hurricanes, building our businesses, or just trying to get to bed on time, we're always trying to level up and improve our lives.
This is the show where we share the lessons, experiences, and friends that have helped us live this incredible life. So let's quit the bad and grow the good together.
All right, so welcome back if you are a continued listener of the show. And if you're brand new, thank you for joining us. We're super glad to have you. We are still a listener-funded podcast at the moment.
Yep.
So thank you guys for supporting us. And if you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/jennieanddavis and pick the tier that works best for you. We would really, really appreciate that.
Also, we would really, really appreciate if you would just share the show with somebody. If one of these topics you think would help somebody out, just share the show with them. Just send them a link. You should be able to just share the episode right to their phone or something.
Yes.
We'd love to grow the show and reach more people. So if you think that us babbling for half an hour once a week would help somebody, please and thanks. We'd appreciate your share. But anyway, we got a new segment. New segment. Not an action step, just getting your attention.
People are like, whoa, we got to the point really fast today.
The only other sound I have on here is a dryer buzz. You know, when the dryer's done.
Nobody likes to hear that.
So that doesn't really fit the situation. Anyway, new segment. I have a riddle for you, Jenny.
Oh, great.
And the answer's not up on the screen, so you don't even know the answer.
I can't even cheat.
So, listeners, if you'd like to play along, you can pause at any moment, and you can think about it, and then I'll give you the answer. So, here we go.
Oh, boy.
It's time for a riddle. What is at the beginning of the end, the start of eternity, and at the end of time and space? It was in the middle of yesterday, but it's nowhere in tomorrow. All right, pause if you don't want to hear the answer. Jenny, do you have an answer?
Okay, beginning of the end, start of eternity, the end of time and space was in the middle of yesterday, but is nowhere in tomorrow. Ooh.
It's the letter E.
What?
Yep.
Stop, you didn't even give me enough time to think. I was going to guess I was going to say a memory and then.
Nope, it's the letter E.
And I was like, maybe lunch. I had lunch yesterday, but I don't know if I'll have lunch tomorrow.
I don't know. I sure hope lunch is at the end of time and space. I hope if we reach the ends of the universe, somebody bought a sack lunch.
We hop into a black hole and there's just a sandwich.
That would be pretty great. So anyway, I hope that was fun for y'all. Try to think.
We'll see how long this segment sticks.
I don't know.
Maybe people will be like, I hate your riddles.
Jenny, why am I in a bro tank?
Because it's like 80 degrees in Houston.
It's great.
It is finally springtime.
It's the start of hot girl summer.
Yes, it's basically summer. Like
here in Houston it is. We just had an ice storm a few weeks ago and now it's summertime. So
yes.
I'm enjoying it. We just took a walk with the dog and wanted to get a little bit of sun because I can't tell if you can tell. I am mighty pasty.
Yes.
So wanted to get some sun. So sorry I didn't change shirts
Gotta get that base burn going on.
Yeah. I mean, I can tan. It's just I don't hold on to it. Like I get dark, but relatively dark. Dark compared to what I am now. But I just can't hang on to it. It disappears in like just a couple days. So.
You just can't hang.
Yeah, but I get darker than you do, though.
Yeah,
which is nice for me.
Because
not for you.
Because everything's a competition. It truly is.
Really, I can do more push-ups than you.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, this has been one crazy week. I know we talked about it in the YouTube video a little bit, but like we've got so much stuff going on right now, which is all good things.
Yep.
But even some bad things too. But anyway, we're staying positive here. But I mean, things are in large part really good right now. It's just pretty hectic and chaotic, and we're leaning on our time management systems, which was kind of the impetus for today's podcast. But
Ooh,
I know.
SAT word
I'm
right
bringing
there.
it back. I'm bringing it back. We said it a few weeks ago, and we're bringing it back now. But yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest thing is that we started building that living room set that you sold to one of our Air Force friends.
Yep.
Got some headway on that.
That was the one that we did all the live streams of. So like you
Yep.
may have seen us do 2-3 live streams of like designing on SketchUp. We're finally starting to build.
Yeah, you called some realtors and followed up on some sales, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Followed up on some sales there. A lot of times, like they'll just get the cutting board in the mail and then like forget, or they'll say like, "Oh, I like need to call them back," or "I need to send them an email," and then it's been like 2 weeks and they don't, and so I follow up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, thanks for reminding me," and so just your usual follow up calls.
Yeah, and then we had a big realtor meeting this week. We had it on the calendar, but we kind of forgot about it. Fortunately, we remembered in time, or I mean, like we have a system in place. Like I say that like we haphazardly forgot, which I guess we kind of made the YouTube video sound that way for drama.
Yeah.
But like we didn't forget. It's just it totally slipped our minds until we saw it on like Sunday or Monday, and the meeting was on
like,
Thursday. So it was, I don't know, it was kind of shocking to be like, oh, that's this week. Okay. Wasn't mentally prepared for that. But I mean, that's the whole point of having the calendar, right? Is that it jogs our memory and gets us to do things without forgetting. So
it's like having a fail safe. So even if it's not, on the forefront of our minds, we have like a point in time where it forces us to see everything before it's too late, which is good. But yeah, that went like really well. So basically this is how it all started. Here's the story. So within realty like companies or agencies, they'll have smaller teams made up of like, I don't know, sometimes they're small where it's like only 4 realtors in a team, and sometimes they have like 25 people in a single team. But there's one like team lead in charge of everybody in that group, and so we try to mail cutting boards to the team leads because it's more efficient. If you get like the person in charge on board with the closing gift, they're going to share it with everybody down below on their team, and if they see, hey, our team lead's in on this, they're more likely to be in on it. So we sent a board to team lead a while ago. She really liked it, ended up calling us back saying, thank you, this is so beautiful, and we're like, cool. And so then we asked her if we could come speak at one of their weekly team meetings, and she was like, yes, that would be awesome. We love hearing people talk, we love hearing new ideas. And so we got on their calendar, and here we are. It was there was, I think, 9 people?
Yeah, I
there
think 9 or
total?
10 total.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. We were kind of stressing a little bit because again, we'd never done any sort of corporate kind of communicating. I mean, social media is completely different. You get the chance to edit yourself. I mean, this podcast is a little bit more like unedited, but like even if we say something really stupid, which we have before, we can edit it out of the podcast. But like YouTube, like we're constantly over editing things, so we get the chance to do it again. But when you're live in front of an audience, like you don't get the chance to stop and try again. So we were just a little nervous because corporate stuff we've never done before. I mean, we've spoken on stage at church multiple times. We've done all sorts of Air Force stuff, which is kind of like one-on-one or big groups. But
military presentations are like just so different than any other type of presentation. It is the driest, most direct.
But that's what they want.
Exactly.
That's what they want.
There's lack of fluff. There's no emotion. It's just, here you go. Have a good day.
Have I shared the purple cow analogy on the podcast yet?
I don't think so. It's a good analogy, though.
Yeah, so in the military, there's a certain way to do things, and you might think that's stupid or that's crazy, but that's what you've got to do. Like, no matter how good of an idea you think you have, like you cannot reinvent the wheel. If your commander asks you to bring him a purple cow, I don't care how crazy you think a purple cow is. I don't care. Like nobody cares if you can find the best black and white or brown cow out there. The commander's not gonna be happy unless you bring him a purple cow. So this whole like analogy or this little joke is like, if somebody asks for a purple cow, just give them what they're asking for. I know it's ridiculous. I know it seems stupid, but that's what you've got to do if you actually want to like be a good communicator and stuff like that. You got to follow the Air Force's silly communication rules, which don't work anywhere else in the entire world. But the military, but that's the game you got to play. So
yeah, so anyway. We really had to spend some time like figuring out what points we wanted to put in this presentation, because we had to put ourselves in the realtor's shoes. Like if I was in this position, what would I want people to tell me about this closing gift? How would I want it presented to me?
It was a little weird that we got to choose how we want to deliver it too, because we've been told for so long how to do things a certain way, and we knew that wouldn't work. So we were trying to just guess at what the corporate world once, which it sounds like, so like you saw something earlier this week on TikTok or whatever. It's like in school you get told like right up, you want to say it?
Yeah, in school, it was a TikTok, and it was like, in school you get told this paper must be 7 pages long or else like we'll dock your grade. In real life, it goes, tell me what you need to say in 7 seconds or I'm out.
So anyway, we're trying to like balance all those things and like just deliver a good product, I guess, is what we're trying to say to the realtors, because like we don't want to take advantage of their time. We don't want to sound salesy to them. We don't want to be like too hype about what we're trying to do, because then you lose credibility there if they're not as excited about it. So we're trying to keep it real, but we're also trying to keep it valuable for them.
Right.
So,
you want to make it down to earth so they don't get bored and think you're a sleazy salesman, but you also want to include the things that they actually do need to see.
Right. Plus, this week we've also been showing your brother everything that we do. So Jennie's brother, Eric, is out here. We'll get him in some content coming up, but like
we kind of teased him in the YouTube video a little bit, if you guys noticed, but
so Jennie's brother is out here just to like help us out. Like we've got a lot of checklists and procedures and systems, and we need an employee, I'm doing air quotes for those of you that are just listening, an employee to try it out and see, because we don't know what we don't know. I mean, there was a couple checklist steps that he was running through the other day, and we totally left the most obvious thing out of the checklist.
What did we leave out?
It was something in the Glowforge.
We didn't even say lift. We didn't even say lift the Glowforge lid. That's what it was. And he was like, how do I open the Glowforge? And we're like, did we not even say lift the Glowforge lid in this checklist? And we're like, nope, we did not.
Yeah, so he's like putting it on top of the laser, expecting it to like laser through the lid. I'm like, he's not that stupid. He's a really smart guy, but like, anyway, we just did a poor job of communicating how the laser worked. And so, and we were not helping him out at all. We just wanted him to sink or swim based on our checklist. So it was really more an evaluation of us, not him.
Right.
Anyway, and he's just like going through all of our processes to help us out with that. Anyway, he'll be here for a little while longer, but we're just excited to have another person to show everything to, which, I mean, slows everything down a little bit, but I don't know. It's a good audit. It's a good like run through of everything that we do, and helps us stay more accountable. Like, I don't know. There's some days that we've been sleeping in before he got here, and now it's like, oh, well, he can't be up before us. So it kind of helps us help ourselves. So,
and I feel like we start to go like a little blind to certain things, especially like the checklists and some of our systems where we've looked at them for so long that that's, we're biased against them and all sorts of things. And it's nice to have a set of fresh eyes to say like, wait, what? You still do that?
Yeah. So anyway, that's been fun, but like I said, it's just been a crazy, crazy week. But things are rolling right along.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I guess that's it.
That's really all we were up to this week. It was an awesome first realtor meeting.
Thanks everybody for listening to the show. I'm just kidding. No.
Oh, not that kind of ending.
Yeah, we got to jump into the title topic here. I just don't have a good transition. So.
Here's our quote, guys. Our quote for today is, either you run the day or the day runs you. Mm-hmm. And that's by Jim Rohn. Mm. He's the
he's the same guy that does the quote, like, you're the average of the 5 idiots you spend the most time with.
I don't know if he says idiots, but
that's what I say.
I'm
that's
sure.
My version. So
still works.
Anyway, so today's episode is titled Quit Being Late. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's at face value, like, quit being late. You got to take responsibility for your time management. It's so easy to like feel like you're running out of time, or like, I don't have enough time to do what I really want to do. But in all reality, like, this is going to be kind of convicting, but like, you're in charge of your time. And I know a lot of us don't want to hear that, because then that means we got work to do. But at the end of the day, how bad do you want your goals? If you really want to achieve the goals that you've set out for yourself, to change your life in a positive way, or to raise your kids better, or to be a better husband or wife or spouse or whatever it is, like, you've got to start taking responsibility for your time. That alone will set you up for success in just about every other area. So we got a couple different points we're going to run through and give you some action steps, and then we'll get out of here. So what's our first point, Jennie?
Yes. So basically, our first point is time is our most precious resource, right? Like, it's the one thing you wish you had more of that you can never like physically create more of. You can just manage it properly. And it's 100% under your control.
And you also have no idea how much you have left.
Yes.
That's the other thing. It's like you can always go find more money. You can always go, I don't know, get more beer. You can always you can tell where my mind's at. I'm in a bro tank. It's hot outside. I'm not mentally here. But anyway, like I probably wasn't mentally here to begin with, but that's besides the point. Like time is just so important, and it's so undervalued in our culture, in our society. Like everybody says time is money. I don't know that I buy that. Like time is worth a lot more than your money.
Especially for us right now, we're noticing that too, because there are some processes where it's like, yes, I could spend unlimited time on this, like tools, for example. Yes, I could get a cheaper sander and save some money, but then I'm going to be spending twice as long sanding with a crappy sander than if I just spent a little bit of money, bought a really nice one, and it takes me half the time. So it's like, I just don't have the time. Well, so I'm willing to put in a little extra money.
There's a lot of things in our business where I don't want the money. If you gave me the choice between having money and having time, I'd rather have the time.
Yep.
I don't want the money. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons we just bought a second laser engraver, is because I want to save a little bit more time when we're fulfilling cutting board orders. So I don't know that I buy the notion that time is money. I don't think it's a 1-for-1 swap. I think it changes value pretty often.
Yeah, so, based on your situation.
Anyway, but bottom line, like time is 100% under your control. We had a mentor in college. He used to say, he loved saying this, and I've adopted it for myself, but he used to say, you make time for what you want to make time for. And as much as I hate that saying, it is so true. You really do find time to do the things that you want to do.
I think it hurt, like, you hate it so much because it's so true and convicting. Like going to the gym, like you make time to stay in shape and eat healthy, or you don't. There is no gray area.
You just don't value it enough, and that's why you don't go to the gym. It has nothing to do with how many hours you have.
And you're like, oh, but I do value it. It's meaningful. Really? Are you making a routine every Thursday night where you meal prep for the next 4 days and it's chicken and rice and broccoli, or are you not?
Yeah, but I was really tired one day, and like, I don't know, kids were screaming. It's like, yeah, like, okay, cool. If you want to blame your kids for why you're not healthy, like go
it's
for
hard.
it.
It's very difficult, and you're not going to be perfect at it, but gosh, so convicting.
Yeah. So you just got to own that. Like, if you're not willing to own that, you like, I don't know, I guess quit listening to the podcast. Like nothing else is going to be, if you don't take full responsibility and control for the number of hours in your day, being put towards the things that you want to do, I don't really have anything for you. I'm sorry. If you can't accept that, like that's the foundational understanding to then moving forward and building on top of that to try and make progress.
Because then you start understanding, which is our second point, that time management is the key to achieving what you want. Once you take responsibility for time and that it's all under your control, then you can start to manage it to work for you
in the direction you want to go.
Correct.
Right. It's just like money. Like if you once you get a little bit of money, what do you do with that money? If you buy things that cost you money, you're not going to have any left. But if you buy things that make you money, you're going to be better off in the future. It's the same thing with time. Like you need to be investing your time in a way where you're going to get a bigger return on that investment. You're going to get more free time. You're going to get more money. You're going to get whatever your goal is set out to be. If you want an A in class, you got to spend time studying and learning. If you want to get a better job, you've got to give time to your boss or your company in a way that they're going to more appreciate it. Like you've got to be very intentional with the time that you want to spend.
Yeah, if you're running a business, you have to schedule each day very intentionally to make sure you can fit in everything that you need.
You can't run a business if you don't do that. The business is going to run you. Kind of like our quote, like if you don't run your business is going to take over your calendar and it's going to run you. And that's not a good place
Start taking over your life in ways you don't want it to. And yeah.
So anyway, and then our third point is being responsible for your time management is a really good way to build trust with others. Mm-hmm. I mean, a really good way. Not that if you're ever late to dinner, I think you're a terrible scumbag, but like you can really do yourself a favor by setting yourself apart from the crowd by being on time.
Mm-hmm. Like it tells the other person that they're important to you. They're like, hey, you are so worth it to me that I managed my time for you. My most valuable asset that I have. I figured it out and made it work just for you.
Right. And people can also start to count on you. Like if they need a favor done or if they want to trust somebody with a new responsibility, whether that be a job or something, like they're going to come to you because you have proven that you're more dependable in the area of time anyway. And they know that discipline is the ultimate translatable skill. If you're disciplined with your time, they can expect you to be disciplined in other areas of your life. So that'll help too. Also, you just look good. It just makes you look better. One of our good friends, Will Collette, he gets all these awesome photo shoots with supercar owners and models and just all sorts of crazy stuff. We talked about it before. He's one of our good friends, but I hope he's listening. What's up, Will, if you are?
Hey, Will.
But man, he just looks so much better than every other photographer out there, because I mean, I remember when we were doing stuff in LA, like people would constantly flake out on us.
I feel like that's the vibe of LA. Everybody's just kind of flaky.
Yeah,
and I'll get there when I get there. And
LA's filled with humans, so it's just
Yeah.
another like extension of humanity. Like people are just flaky, and we were the ones, like the three of us, me, Will, and Shivam, like we would all just show up to this shoot, and sometimes people would flake out on us, or they would change the time, or they'd show up like 6 hours later than they said they would be.
Jeez.
I remember one time we were at the recording studio, and the dude that invited us like didn't show up until like 1 a.m. and we had to leave. It was just crazy. But anyway, like you're just going to look better. You're just like, there's no downside to being on time. There's just not. Like, you're not going to miss the 10 extra minutes fixing your hair.
And I feel like if you show up on time, you have a little bit more time to put out fires if they happen. You know, if you come late, you have no time to do anything except for the event you arrived for. For example, with this realtor meeting, obviously we showed up a little early because we needed to be prepared to put out fires. If their TV screen that we were presenting on didn't work, we needed to figure out a way to fix that. If the HDMI cord wasn't working, if we couldn't get onto their internet, if for some reason the laptop died, like you have to have time to, you know, solve problems because not everything's going to work perfectly. And if you're late, there goes all your time. It's officially gone.
And the 1 or 2 times a year where you show up early and there are no problems, like with this realtor meeting, the TV worked, everything was fine. We got to sit there and meet 2 brand new realtors in Houston. We got to talk to them. We learned their names. We started talking about their families and their jobs and their old careers, and now they're realtors. Like, we built an actual relationship with these new people, and we didn't have that scheduled. Like, we were able to take advantage of this awesome opportunity because we were on time and because we showed up prepared.
Right.
And like, we just wouldn't have gotten that opportunity otherwise. So anyway, that's our next thing, is like, if you're on the other side of that. So if you don't build trust with others, if you're constantly late, if you're always forgetting, like you don't want to, we've in our culture, and I think a lot of this has to do with like the school system, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today, but like we are taught to value a completed perfect assignment more than we are taught to value being on time. It's better, at least in the school system, like it's better to have the right answers and turn it in a day late than it is to turn it in on time and have 20 wrong answers. I don't know. That was my experience in high school. Like, I could talk my way out of turning in a late assignment, but I could not talk my way into or out of bad work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like I could get the teacher to like accept my late assignment, but I could not get the teacher to accept my bad work. So I think our culture is rewarding taking a little bit longer to do it perfectly than it is just to give a 90% solution on time. Which
in life, there's really no talking yourself into a late anything. If we would have showed up late to that meeting the other day, they would have said, sorry, like we had something else at 9:30 this morning. You came at 9:20. Sorry. And all of a sudden we look like the late business.
Right. And then, so if you have a repeated pattern of behavior to do this, you start to make other people have to babysit you, which is in our minds is the most embarrassing. Like, that is a failure to us. I feel worse about somebody babysitting me than I do about ever making an F in school.
Okay, so what do we mean by babysitting? Like, this is what I think of, like how we started the podcast this morning. You know, have you ever, or this afternoon, whenever you're listening to this podcast, we started the podcast by saying, you know, those people that you have to tell them dinner's at 6 just so they, or what did I say, 5:30 just so they show up by 6.
Yeah.
Like, that's babysitting. You have to now change the way you're talking to people and change the way you think about things because you can't count on that person. Your standards for them have to be lowered just by the way they operate.
Which means, like, you're making that other person more stressed than everybody else is.
Right.
You're making that person do more work than everybody else is because they're babysitting you. Like, there's no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to mince words about it. Like, you're making them babysit you. And to us, that's like the most embarrassing thing ever. I hope to never make anybody babysit me. If somebody's not being direct and honest with me, I want to know why, and I want to make it right. And I feel like time management is one of those things where, like, everybody know, like everybody laughed at the intro. Everybody's got that friend that's always late to dinner. Like it happens way more often than just dinner plans. Anyway, so if people are babysitting you and they think that you're sloppy, I mean, God help you if you're like trying to get a promotion at work, or you're trying, like you're in competition with somebody else for something and you're the one with poor time management. Game over. That is one of the easy, both of us have supervised people before in the Air Force. The number one thing that we go to when we determine like who's better than the other one is overall impression of their time management.
Do you have enough responsibility to show up when you're needed?
And I don't think that's just a military exclusive thing. I think that's like a corporate thing that transfers over.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
If like somebody's time management is such a good litmus test of how responsible they are in life. And that's our last point, is like by being on time, you solve so many other life problems. Mm-hmm. Like a person responsible enough, it's not about time. So like quick story, like when we were in college, we had this like super way too excited group of like military people, and we did all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, we went and like did water training with pararescue jumpers in the Air Force. We like hiked mountains in the middle of the night. We like played a bunch of paintball. Like we did a bunch of fun stuff, but like
in a very intense manner.
Right. Like all the stuff you've seen on like the Discovery Channel, getting yelled at, boot camp, like carrying big logs in the middle of the night, like pushing Jeeps up a hill, like all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it was kind of weird, but like it was a lot of fun. But when we showed up, so all the freshman class like had to show up at a certain time in the middle of the night on Friday night. And we had to be there like on time, not 1 minute early, not 1 minute late. And they were watching. And the goal of that is, number one, to build like an unreasonable amount of like responsibility around time management. But guys, it was never about managing time. It was never the fact that we ran out of time. We forgot what time it was. Like that was never the problem. There were personality conflicts. There were arguments with people in the parking lot before we went to where, the little meeting spot we were supposed to be at. Like there were so many other factors that went into people being late. Time had nothing to do with it.
And it was figuring out which people were the ones that needed to be babysat, like which ones were doing the babysitting, who forgot, their hat and gloves back in their dorm room, but were already halfway to the location, like all that kind of stuff.
Right. So we were very quickly able to like identify the people that we had to babysit and either fix them, help them fix themselves, or cut them loose because like we could not carry the dead weight.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just... by being on time, you have to solve so many other problems in your life. And we're going to give you some action steps to maybe figure out how to do some of those things a little bit better. So the first thing you can do to identify these things that you need to improve on is to, where's my ding? Quit remembering everything. Use a calendar. You do not have to remember anything anymore. You got this $1,000 like computer in your pocket. I'm holding my cell phone up if for people that aren't watching, but like, You don't need to remember anything anymore. You can put it in Google Calendar. You can use Google Keep, which is like a sticky note app, like, or Evernote, or any other kind of like management software. You don't need to remember everything. So
I think we even have an entire podcast titled
"Do we
Quit Remembering?"
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
I don't
See,
remember.
you didn't even remember. Look
See,
at you
don't
go.
even remember. But I know where to find it. It's in. I'm looking at the spreadsheet on my computer right now. It's pulled up right there. So like, you don't need to remember everything. Just use a calendar, and then you can start to time yourself. You can put a stopwatch on and you can say, okay, how long does it take me to do my hair in the morning? How long does it take to do makeup? And then you can start to build time into your calendar so that you get everything done. Jennie has 2 makeup routines, right? You got a quick one, and then you got like dinner
I'm going
out
somewhere
or something.
nice or fancy one.
And you know exactly how long they take. How long does your quick one take?
The quick one takes about 4 minutes.
How long does your long one take?
About 10 minutes.
Okay, great. Props to me for finding the wife of the world who takes less than 10 minutes to do her makeup. But like,
and I think what that comes down to is like the consistency it provides by like scheduling it and timing yourself. Because I feel like when you're late, a lot of it is due to lack of consistency. Like one day it'll take you 5 minutes to do your makeup, and the next day, well, I should probably put this in terms that like guys can figure out too. Sorry,
our audience is mostly male.
I know. Okay, let's figure this out. Some days it'll take you 6 minutes to sand a cutting board, and some days it'll take you 15 minutes to sand a cutting board, and then you're late to the next thing that you needed to do that night because, oops, it accidentally took you 10 minutes when you really only had 5 minutes. Like, you have to create consistency so you know when things are going to end.
Or if you run to Home Depot and you're just trying to buy a new drill or a new tool or a weed whacker or something like that, and you get to the store and you realize there's 10 options to choose from instead of the one or two that you thought, then you're standing there in the store for 20 minutes and you don't realize like, oh shoot, I was supposed to be back home 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Or I'm out watching the game with the boys and the wife wanted me home at 10 and it's like midnight. Now I'm really going to get it. So there's all different ways this can play out, but you just start to time yourself and figure out your own routines and things that you repeatedly do. And then you can start to build that into your schedule and you know exactly how long it takes and you can start to decide. So if we're running a little bit late, Jennie knows I can't do my big makeup routine. I got to do my small makeup routine. And then we're still on time. We managed our stuff and everybody likes us.
Yes.
So that was the second action step is time yourself to learn how long things take. And then the last thing is just adopt the identity, like become the type of person who shows up on time.
Yep.
Just commit to yourself, make a promise and just say, look, I am no longer a lousy slob. I am the person that shows up on time every day. And good things will start to happen. It might not happen day one, might not happen week one, might not happen month one, but better things will happen to you if you become the kind of person who starts to show up on time.
Yes.
And with that, do we have any announcements?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And we stopped advertising the name of the next podcast because we don't know. What if we get a wild hair for some crazy lesson? And then we've already told you guys that it was going to be about quit remembering. And then we feel bad because then we're lying to you. That's not very nice.
We don't want to lie to you. That's really why we're doing it. Anyway, have a great week, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.